Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carly. This is mostly a knitting podcast where I share with you all about my making and knitting, and sometimes some other crafts are shown along the way as well, like sewing and sometimes stained glass and some other things. I'm restarting my computer right now, so hopefully that's not too distracting. I was hopefully going to put like a nice little print back there on the screen, a nice little like display on the screen, but it was painfully slow, so I hope that's not bothering you. Today I do have a few things to share with you, quite a few updates since the last episode. I have a couple of finished objects. Some are not here because I have given them away already, but I do have a pair of socks to show, and I do have pictures for the other items that I don't have with me. So before we get started, I'll start with what I'm wearing. This is a newly finished porcelain sweater. I showed it on the last episode, but I haven't worn it in front of you all yet. So here it is. As you can see, I did the contrast collar and a little bit of contrast on the cuffs because I was short on yarn, but I knit size 1 and it's got a nice amount of positive ease on me. I wear this quite a bit. I used what's it called? I got yarn very kindly gifted to me from Knitting Fever, and it is the Queensland collection in Tenderfoot, and I believe this is called Old Ivory, something like that. And then this contrast color was leftovers from my tulip sweater, and this is Acorn in the Juniper Moon Patagonia. So let's start with some finished objects. Let's start with the finished objects that have already been gifted. I recently gave my little niece a couple of presents. I was supposed to wait for Christmas, but I can't wait when it comes to giving gifts for her. So the first one, I'll put some pictures up here, and this was just a sweatshirt that I bought off of Amazon for her. And originally I was making a quilt, so I had some quilt blocks all sewn up ready to go. But I just kind of lost steam on that project and I wasn't feeling very inspired to finish it. So I ended up just sewing this like quilt star. I'm not sure what the actual name of it is, as I'm not a quilter, but I ended up just sewing it onto her sweatshirt because I saw some of this on Pinterest lately, and it just like really made some basic crew neck sweatshirts look so cute and adorable. And the pink was matching perfectly from the sweatshirt to the quilted part, so that was really easy. I had the quilt part sewn up already and I just had to cut out the star. I was originally going to do the full block, but it was just a bit too big for the size of sweatshirt that I got. And it would have like gone onto the arms and onto the ribbing, which I didn't want. So I just cut it into the star shape itself and threw it onto a sweatshirt. So that was a really easy, fun project. If any of you have some old crew neck sweatshirts that you don't really know wear too much or want to kind of like liven up, I highly recommend this. It is so fun. It is such a quick and easy way to kind of get some custom pieces out of your wardrobe. And she looks adorable in it. It's slightly oversized. It kind of looks like she's got some, what do you call it, shoulder pads on, which is so sweet, but she'll be able to get some wear out of it for hopefully a couple of years, so that is great. The next finished object was the Petite Souffle by Laura Penrose, and I'll put a picture up here. This was a scrappy version. As you can see, I omitted the ruffle because I was doing stripes. I thought that'd be too much, and all of the stripes were basically just leftover scraps from other projects I didn't know what to do with, and I had already put into my calico quilt scrappy shawl that I'm making. So it was perfect. It used up the perfect amount of yarn that I wanted to get rid of some of these scraps, and I think it turned out really nicely. I was originally going to do a long sleeve version for her, but I ran out of some scrap, one of the color of scraps, so I wouldn't be able to do the stripes on the arm, so I ended up just doing a short sleeve. I did I-cord bind off for the sleeves, the bottom, and then applied I-cord at the top with a little bow at the back. and I made it a little bit longer so it's kind of just like over her bum, and it's pretty baggy and loose right now, but she can wear it with tights and it looks like a really cute winter dress for her, and she'll be able to grow into it as she gets older and it'll become more of a shirt. So I'm very pleased with that. She loved it and I can't wait to see her wear it, hopefully around Christmas time this year. So some other finished objects that I no longer have with me because they've been sent off with my sister's mother-in-law so she can have them for Christmas gifts this year were 2 pairs of socks. They were just some vanilla socks. I'll put them up here. I did contrasting colors, and the blue is Pewter by Lichen and Lace, and then the beige-ish gray color is it's Irish Linen by Ancient Arts Yarn. So I got those made up. Those were 2 pairs out of 4 for her that I needed to get done before Christmas. And I just have 2 more pairs to go. So while we're on the topic of socks, I have another finished pair that are still here with me because I haven't seen her yet to give her 3rd pair, but here they are. So these ones, what's a little bit different is I was getting pretty sick of knitting socks. So I went to Polka Dot Creek, their website. It's a store, a yarn store that's just about 45 minutes away from me. And they have a knitting machine there and they crank out all of these sock tubes. So I thought I would give this a go. Order a sock tube. I got 2 colors, as you can see, and I don't remember the colors off the top of my head right now. If you're super interested in this, let me know in the comments and I'll let you know what the colors are. So I just got some of these, and I had never done an afterthought heel before. I've pretty much only ever done vanilla socks and the slip stitch heel, flap, and gusset. So this was a new technique for me, but I thought, hey, if I only have to do the heel, cuff, and toe for some knitted gifted socks, this will be perfect. My hands are getting pretty tired of just knitting on a small gauge and small needles for so long, and I knew I had 2 pairs to go. I also had some test knits going on, and I didn't have a whole lot of time. So I wanted to speed up the process. At first I felt a little guilty about this, thinking, am I cheating here? And then I quickly realized that once I started knitting on these and putting in the heel, cuff, and toe, that no. And if any of you do this and feel guilty, please don't, because you still need to be a knitter to be able to do this, and you still need these skills to be able to put in these parts of the sock. And I'm considering these like handmade socks, hand knitted socks, so I'm very pleased with them. I used Laura Penrose's tutorial on YouTube for an afterthought heel, which is great. It didn't have any gaps, and I didn't use any what do you call it, scrap yarn in between at all. I just followed her tutorial, and I think, which one was the first one, if I'll be able to tell. Not that it matters, but anyway, some heels are better than others, but they're not too bad. I think there's 0 gaps there, and I am a huge fan of the afterthought heel now, I think, because I always hate doing the slip stitch heel, flap, and gusset part. I absolutely hate it, and I really, really love how easy it is. You're basically, like, I just did the exact same amount of decreases here, the same amount of decrease rate for the heel as I do for the toe. So it's super easy. I love it. They look really cute, I think. So I have 1 pair done. I will be doing the 2nd pair with the main color being this, and the contrast will be a green. It won't be the green that's in the sock tube. I have my own hand-dyed yarn that's very similar to this green that's already wound up, and I don't want to unravel yarn from this to put in the contrast part, because I want to squeeze out a couple more pairs of socks out of this. One for my partner's father, and then one for my dad for his birthday that's coming up. So I'm really pleased with this. I think for gifts going forward, if I'm just doing vanilla socks for people, I think I might go this route because it is just life-changing. It saves so much time, and I really like the fit of these. I tried these on. The recipient for this pair is same size of foot as me, so I tried these on and I really like the fit of them. I can just say that I am now a huge fan of the Afterthought heel, and I definitely recommend checking that out. And if you're looking for a different heel option and haven't tried out any yet, I think this is really fun way to do so. Oh, and so that's my last finished object, but I just remembered I have another sock whip on the go that I forgot to grab, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I have another sock whip, and this one is for me. I am making a pair of socks with my own naturally hand-dyed yarn. So I'm using this yarn here. It's all caked up. This I dyed a month or two ago, maybe, all naturally hand-dyed. I used so much in this. Gladiolus, sunflower, Kutch, madder, pomegranate. There was some more. I can't think right now, but there's some more flowers from my mom's garden that I used. Anyway, so there's just a ton of green, beige, red, orangey, yellowy. It's basically just all fall colors. So I really wanted to have a pair of basket weave looking socks. So I'm not using a pattern for this. This is kind of a self-drafted one. And these are on hold at the moment as I'm using my sock needles for a different pair right now. Or no, I'll be using them for when I start the second pair. And I have these just sitting on some 9-inch circulars right now, which I discovered that I hate using, so these are just a placeholder. Anyway, here are my basket weave socks. And stretched out, you can see the nice pattern there. It's super easy, just knits and purls. I think I do 4 rounds of, what is it, maybe it's 2 knit stitches and then 4 purls. You do 4 rounds of that, and then on the next round you do, or after that you do 4 rounds of the same, but you shift where they are, so they kind of alternate. So it's super easy. And I just did a 1x1 rib here. I think it's 15-ish rounds around that. And I'm going to do an Afterthought heel on this because I thought, why not? And I'm going to keep the basket weave. I've thought about this for a while. I think I'm going to keep the basket weave just on the top of the foot because it's so textured inside. I'm quite particular about what touches my feet, and it's quite ridgy inside, so I don't think the arch in my foot would enjoy that texture. So I'm going to keep it plain stockinette knitting on the bottom of the foot, like after I do the heel, and then the texture will stay on the top. And yeah, it was really fun and addictive. I think I did this in 2 days, which isn't a lot, but I was knitting on a lot of other things at the time too. So I'm very excited about these. I think I'm happy with how the yarn is dyeing up. I was very curious to see how this would look in knitting form, and I'm happy with it. I think it's like a nice and subtle speckle, and you just get pops of some really beautiful reds, and mostly you see green and yellow, but then just the pops of the subtle red I think are really pretty. So I'm very excited about these. Hopefully once I get all my other sock knitting done, I'm going to go back to these and try and get at least a pair done soon, because I would love to wear them for around Christmas time. But I don't know if that'll happen because I do have a lot of things on the go. And I'm holding this in my handmade, hand-printed flower bag. And it goes well since this is a yarn dyed with flowers as well. I have another sock whip to share with you. It's a sock heavy episode, which it normally isn't. I was craving some cabled socks out of nowhere, so I thought, let's see what Sari Nordlund has. And I have this beautiful yarn from Knitting Fever. It is the Tenderfoot, again, in the Queensland collection. And it is a beautiful pink. It's slightly heathered, and you can just barely make out some different colors in there. So I just started this the other day, and I don't have much going, but this is a modified version of the, I forget the name of it, but I'll put it up here, of her socks. It's a modified version. It's originally for a DK weight yarn. I'm doing it with a fingering weight yarn, and I'm doing it on, I think these are 2.75 millimeter needles. It is a really simple cable. I also modified the cuff. It is supposed to be a longer cuff that you fold down. I just went with 20 rounds, maybe 20 or 15, I can't quite remember. And here it is. So it's just a really simple cable, which is what I needed. I'm not too experienced in cable knitting, so I just wanted something really simple. There's cables only every second little column here, and then it's just knit stitches and purls in between, and it goes on the back as well. So I think I'll be doing an afterthought heel on this as well, because it originally calls for a slip stitch heel flapping gusset, which I've expressed that I hate doing. So I'm just gonna throw in an afterthought heel, and I don't have any cable needles, but what I've been doing is just slipping the stitches onto this little tapestry plastic needle that I have to hold them, and then I slip them back onto the needle, onto my left needle, and knit them that way, and I just find it a lot easier and for me, and that's how it's working up so far. So I love these. I think it's going to be a really nice cozy winter sock. This yarn, the Tenderfoot Queensland collection, it's 80%, I believe it's 80% merino and then 20% polyamide. So it's not a super wash, but it does have the polyamide in there to give it a bit of strength for socks, and it feels like way more rustic than your usual sock yarn, which I really like. And it just feels like it's gonna be super warm. And I've been really loving working with this yarn in a tighter gauge, because this is the same yarn here, but I used 5 millimeter needles for this. And then I also used it for my light loop sweater by Other Loops, and that was in a really open gauge too, maybe like a 6 or 6.5 millimeter. And they look nice, like it's nice in this open gauge too. But I hadn't used it on a smaller needle yet to get that tighter gauge, and I really like it. So yeah, I'm excited for these. I would love to have these for Christmas too. But again, we've got a lot of knitting to get through, a lot of other socks to finish beforehand, and I just threw these on because I just needed something different for one night, and I had a blast knitting these up. So yeah, I don't expect them to take me too long because they are so enjoyable. And the good thing about this pattern is that you don't have to, like, once you do a couple rows, it's good, it's set in your brain, and for me anyway, and I don't have to look at the pattern, so it's really nice. It can be a mindless like cable project, which I didn't know was possible. So I'm really enjoying that, and happy to have a fun pair of pink socks. I only have 2 pairs of knitted socks for myself, but I've gifted a whole bunch of people socks, and I thought it's time that I have some in my closet, so I'm so excited for those. Right, my next whip here is part of a really fun cal that Unit Toronto is putting on. So they gave me a code. It is the Violetta cal that is designed by Claudia Quintanilla, and the cal started on November 17th and it's running till the end of January. If you haven't gotten the pattern yet and you're interested in joining the cal, you can use the code Carly Violetta. It'll be linked down below, or information will be down below in the description box, and I'll put the code up here, and you can get 50% off the pattern. And if you want to join this cal, you do have to make a project page on Ravelry and join the discussion thread, which will all be linked down below, in order to be eligible for, oops, dropped a little progress keeper, in order to be eligible for any prizes that they do for the giveaway. So they kindly gifted us that code for 50% off, and they gifted me the pattern as well. So I did cast on it on the cast on day, and I started, and I haven't worked much on it since because other things came up, but I will show you what I have so far. So I decided to do the folded collar because I really don't have any folded collar pieces. I have one, but I'm not happy with how I did it. So I was very meticulous about this one. Made sure that it was all straight, and because with some folded collars, sometimes it can be slanted, the ribbing. And so I really wanted to make sure that this one was straight. I just knitted it down and I completed the short rows on the back. So I'm just about to start the raglan increases and start reading all the charts and everything. And, but I just haven't had the brain space for it yet. And I'm just trying to get through a test knit that I really need to get done before, and I start another test knit soon. So I am using this yarn, which let me grab the label for it. Here it is. It is the Estelle Worsted, and this is the color, it just has a Q612 962. Sorry, I don't think it has a name, but there's the color if you're interested. It's a nice like faded brick red. I would say it's a really soft yarn. It's got little bits. I don't know if it'll be able to show up on here. It does have like little heathered bits of like yellowish, I would say. It's 50% acrylic, 40% wool, and 10% nylon, and it's worsted weight. The pattern calls for DK, but I'm a really tight knitter, tight gauge, so I just went with worsted. And I really do, this is pretty much the only type of red I like to wear because it's kind of faded, it's muted, it's not super bright. And yeah, I think I'm really gonna like having it. I hope this collar doesn't stand up too much. I hope it does kind of like spread out a bit. And I'm sure once I get into the raglan increases, I'll be able to see how it works up. But the cool thing about this pattern is that they have instructions for top down, bottom up, folded collar, I think like a turtleneck, and then just a single collar. So there are plenty of options. I know I love to do top down, so I went straight to the top down instructions, but if you like bottom up, there's that option too. And it's just a really beautiful lace and cabled sweater. One that I don't have anything like, so I'm excited to have it. And with this double layer here, I think it's going to be a really warm piece to have around my neck on those cooler winter days, especially on those like nice winter jackets or winter coats that you have, like the wool coats that usually have a deep V. I think this will be really nice. So not a whole lot to share, but I'll keep you updated on that. We have till the end of January to finish these for the cows, so still plenty of time, and it gives you lots of time too if you have lots of gift knitting to do or Advent stuff planned. And I know I probably won't be getting a whole lot of this done until after Christmas, which I'm totally fine with. But I at least want to get it started because, as I mentioned before, I hate starting a project. I like to get a little bit going and kind of get that over with, so I'm ready to pick back up. Okay, I think I just have one last active whip to share. And this is a test knit. I shared with it on the last episode. And this is my test knit for Andrea Gone Knits. It is the front porch pullover. I had just the back panel done last time I showed it. And this is a drop shoulder sweater. And I am using, let me show you it first, then I'll tell you about the yarn. Here it is. So far I got quite a bit done since the last one. I finished this sleeve, finished the hem and bound off, and I picked up the sleeve last night for my second sleeve, and then I just have to do the collar. So this is Twisted Rib, finished with a tubular bind off, Twisted Rib here with a tubular bind off as well. It's supposed to be a little bit longer than bracelet length so that it can kind of have a balloon sleeve as you do a little bit of decreasing at the end, as you can see there. I am obsessed with this sweater because even pre-blocking, it is already one of the best fitting sweaters I have. I am knitting size 1, and I find with Andrea's designs, I've tested it for her quite a bit, a lot of her pieces tend to be like staple pieces in my wardrobe. And I can already tell that this is going to be one of them that I will be wearing all throughout winter. I am in love with it. It is so, so amazing. And it's just like, it's just an amazing, amazing fit. And for once I have sleeves that are long for my crazy long arms. I ran out of yarn on these ones, but it's nice. These ones, these sleeves go to about here, but I can hold it up here and have a little bit of drape at the wrist. And I just love it. The fabric is amazing. I love how it's knitting up. It's kind of hard to tell, but it has a slight marling effect because the yarns that I'm using are slightly different. So this is Drops Flora in the color Misty Forest, and this is an alpaca blend. And then I am holding it, oops, sorry, the needles just smacked the table. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. And I'm holding it with this beautiful mohair, and here it is. I forgot to share this last time, but it's handmade in fine yarn, super kid silk, 70% kid mohair, 30% silk, and it's the color Stardust. So this is hand dyed in Canada. I'm not sure where, but it is just a beautiful, beautiful color, beautiful yarn. I love it. I think I'm going to be able to get the rest of the sweater out of this, and then I'll have this extra one, which I do not know what I'm going to make it with yet. I might do some hats, some socks, some mittens, held with another fingering yarn, but I'm not entirely sure. So this is just an amazing, amazing sweater. I think it'll be my Christmas sweater to wear this year. I think it's a beautiful color, one that you don't really see a whole lot in like stores and in where I go anyway. I don't see this color a whole lot, so I'm really loving it. It's so soft, it's amazing. The fit is perfect. I highly recommend this pattern, even though I'm not done it yet. I'm loving the shape and the fit of it. So the test knit ends in the early days of January, and I'm not sure when it will be released, but I'll definitely let you know on here when it does, and I'll obviously show you all when I have it finished. So I've been really enjoying this. The sleeves are actually enjoyable for me. I said on the last episode, I was like, I hate doing sleeves. These ones I've actually been really enjoying, and oddly enough, it was the body on this one that I felt was just dragging on. And I think it was just this twisted rib, because it's about 2.5 inches of twisted rib, and it felt like it was just going on for so long. But I'm really happy with it. I think twisted rib does give a nice clean finished look at the end, and the tubular bind off was worth it as well. And yeah, I'm just very happy with it. I can't wait to wear it. Hopefully it'll be done by the next time I podcast, which it probably will. That's my goal, because I have another test knit that I'm doing. I haven't started yet because the yarn hasn't arrived yet. This is a test knit for Coco Amore Knits. It is the, I forget what it's called, but I'll put the Instagram picture. I think it's the Audrey jacket, actually. And it's the yarn is being provided, which is so amazing. It's by Japard Yarns, and it's a nice fluffy boucle. I'm doing the same color as what the designer did, so a light beige color, and I ordered some ceramic buttons from Etsy that will be coming in there, like a nice off-white. So I'm very excited about this jacket, a nice fun boucle jacket, but I really wanted to have this finished or really close to finished before I receive the yarn for that test knit, which should be here any day now, because the deadline for this test knit as of now, it does kind of depend on when everybody gets their yarn, but the deadline for it I think is like right before Christmas, so it's a quick one, but it's a bigger gauge, so she said it's more than doable. So anyway, I just really wanted to have one test knit on the go at a time, so I'm making this my top priority and trying to get as much of it done as I possibly can in these coming days, along with these socks, so that I can put a lot of my attention towards this test knit that is due around right around, or maybe right after Christmas. It kind of, the deadline may change depending on when the yarn arrives for everybody. But yeah, that's it for WIPs. I have one acquisition to share, or I guess it's two. I bought yarn for the bouquet sweater. I mentioned this in a couple episodes ago. I was talking about different colorwork patterns, and there was the bouquet sweater by Junko Okamoto, and I decided to go with a light gray and a nice olive green color combination for this. So originally I said I wanted to do like a light gray and maybe a dusty steel blue, but I couldn't really find the yarn at the store that I was buying from, and they were having a sale that day, so I ended up finding this, which I actually think is a better choice anyway. I love this color. It's a perfect green. This is Estelle Harmony worsted. It is the color Brass, and it's 55% organic wool and 45% cotton. And then we have this Estelle Silk Harmony for the main color. It's 50% silk, 20% wool, and 20% cotton. So I think this is just going to be a really lovely combination. I hope to cast this on probably after Christmas. I don't see any time in the next couple of weeks before Christmas where I'd be able to cast this on, but I'm very much excited that I have the yarn for it, and that the cast on is near, because it's just a dream sweater of mine. So that's it for acquisitions. That's it for WIPs and finished objects. I think we went through everything. And I know that, well, December 1st is tomorrow, and that's Vlogmas season. I actually did get a hold of my Advent. So if you watched the last episode, I had some difficulty tracking down my Advent calendar, but I ended up finding it. So I got the Advent from Big Little Yarn Co. And I am so excited. I think she's a fabulous dyer, and I will be opening up that first one tomorrow morning, and I cannot wait. I plan on doing, what's it called? Anyway, it's a very well-known Advent pattern. I'll put it up here, but that's what I plan on doing with my Advent this year. Do any of you have Advents? I would love to know which dyer you went with and what pattern you're planning on knitting or crocheting with it, or maybe it's going into a scrappy blanket or a scrappy project. I'd love to know if you have any plans for that. Regarding Vlogmas, I've been giving it a lot of thought. I'm still debating what to do, if I want to participate or not. I'm not doing an everyday thing. That's just way too much for me. I also have quite a, I love my life and how I live it, but it's not entertaining if you're just to sit and watch it. So I don't have a whole lot to vlog about, I mean. Yeah, I don't know. So I might do a video every couple days in the spirit of Vlogmas, and kind of show you the yarn that I've opened up throughout the days and any progress on things, or just if I'm doing any baking. I might just try and do like every 3 or 4 days and go from there. We'll see how it goes. Again, I can't make any progress or promises, because things can just change quickly and I might not be able to. So we'll see, but I would love to do every couple days if I can, every few days, and go from there. And we'll see. I'm not the best vlogger. I feel like it's a talent that I don't really have. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I'm very much excited to watch all of the other Vlogmas videos that will be coming around. I love it. I think it's some of the best YouTube stuff out there. And as a knitter, it's so fun to have new stuff every day to watch while you work on your own projects or your own advents. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope all of you are having a great time this end of November and as we get into December, which is so crazy. I can't believe it. If you're doing gift knits, I hope they're going well, and I hope they're not stressing you out, because I know how that is, and I've been there, and it's not fun being stressed out when you're knitting. So anyway, if any of you have made it to this far into the video, thank you so much. I would really appreciate it if you liked or commented or subscribed if you haven't already. It's a really easy and free way of supporting me and my channel, and I just appreciate it so very much. So thank you all, and hopefully I'll see you all in a few days for some special Vlogmas episodes. We'll see, okay? Bye.